Hey everyone, and welcome back to Calmsden Farm for episode 2 of our new Let's Play series. On a very nice September morning. So we do have a little bit of rain on the forecast, but all our harvesting is now done in our own fields, and I'm going to hold off doing the hay and silage bales for the next episode, as we have quite a bit of work to do in field 6 to get this plants prepped. So today, or September, is the last month we can drill canola for harvesting next year. So to make the most of the field, we're going to split it into two, and then we're going to drill the first section with canola, and then in the spring we'll work on the second section, so we'll get that ploughed. As you can see on the field info down the bottom, we need lime, and it also needs ploughing as well. So we don't have a direct drill, so we're going to need to well, if we're ploughing, it doesn't really matter, because then we don't need to worry about not being able to direct drill. But yeah, we're going to need to fertilise our lime, ploughing, and get the actual crop sown as well. So we've got quite a bit to do, and the first job will be to split the field up into two sections, and then we're going to have to plough the section that we're going to be drilling today. So let's jump in the Massey, and then we'll get the front weight onto this one. Get the front weight on here, and then we'll get the plough hooked up as well. This Massey does not shoot off. It's like that slow acceleration to get going, and all of a sudden it just like flies off super fast. Also get the front weight on. Get that raised up. And then we'll get our plough hooked up. That should be all hooked up. So yeah, the straw bales, what was left on the field, I've put here. So I just moved the tedder and the windrower out of the way. We've dropped those in there. So we'll keep those for either bedding, if we can actually give the cows bedding in this shed. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if we can get manure, or whether we have to place a manure extension. Something we'll find out. But yeah, that's something to worry about when we do start getting some cows. So, as I say, concentration first is to get this field prepped so we can get the canola in. So what I'm thinking is, rather than like use the landscaping tools, which costs quite a bit of money to put a bit of grass in, I'm just gonna leave it as one like joined field. We'll just have to be careful when if we leave a worker on, that it doesn't like jump across to the other section and start cultivating or ploughing up the planted crop. But I think it'll be easier, because the plan will be to put this back as one field eventually. So I can't remember where I said. I think it's 810. I roughly worked it out. We line this at 810 on the minimap, and we want to go across around about 75 degrees. So 810 and 75. So we'll drop this down and head across the field, and then we'll see how this looks, and then see if we need to just adjust it slightly. We can do. So yeah, 75 degrees is roughly following the angle of the current field either side. So unfortunately the ploughing texture won't match up, because we don't have like full multi-angle terrain, but it's not too bad. So try and keep that at 75 degrees, so keep it fairly straight. So then we'll probably leave around about a 10 metre divide between each field. So what I'll do is turn around at this end, and then we'll run down the plough on the what will be the edge of the other field. But then we won't do any more of that then until the spring, when we get the field prepped for the next crop. So we're coming up to 746. So what we'll do, we'll go down to 10 meters below what the coordinate is for there. So 740. So if we go down to 730, and then we'll come back at 75 degrees, and that should leave a big enough gap. Possibly could go a little bit smaller. Let's get the plough turned around. So I need to work out my degrees now. It's 360. Oh, what would it be for going back the other way? Well, let me just line this up because I can't work that out. My brain's just completely gone. So we are, yeah, 255. It should be right. So what did we say? 730, wasn't it? Right, 730. Going the wrong way here. It's just difficult to line it up when you're not on the complete 90 degrees. So that's 730. So we just want 255. Right, let's lower that down. Does that look right? I don't think that looks right to me. Yes, 255 can't be right, can it? Yeah, I'm not convinced by that. I think I've worked that out wrong. Yeah, we'll go 255, although I'm not 100% sure that's right. So I should have paid more attention in maths when it came to working out stuff like that. I'll get back 230, go 255, and then we'll see. We have got a little bit of room to play with. I'll keep that around 255 and see how we go. Yeah, so we'll just cut across this field. I think looking at that, we may just run another run down either side on the inside of that, just to narrow the gap up a little bit. So far we don't look too bad. I think it's just an optical illusion. Looks like we're completely way off, but then we're not actually getting any closer to it, I don't think. Yeah, it looks fairly parallel that way anyway. But for some reason going this way it just looks way off. Let's just check the map, how we're looking. That doesn't look too bad of a divide. So they look fairly equal. They're not going to be exact, but it looks fairly close enough to being equal either side. One thing I've just realised I forgot to do is turn off field stones. But they're on now, so... Although it does look like they're only small stones. So we may get away with just rolling it. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'll run the plough one side either side of this down, just to narrow this gap up a little bit, and then we'll continue ploughing the main part of the field. I'll get this right. So 275. Oh, yeah, 75. I mean, no, it's 275. Right, so we've done a good few passes now down this side of the field. We did do one further pass on the inside of each strip, just to narrow that gap a little bit between the two fields. But we are struggling a little bit in this massey, so just going to get to the end of the field. I'm going to go and see if we can put some wheel weights on the massey, just see if that helps, because we are getting quite a bit of wheel spin on the back wheels. So maybe some wide tyres with wheel weights may help out a little bit, just to speed things up, because we're not quite getting up to full speed with the plough, so we are losing a bit of time, and there's still a fair bit to do. Let's just lift that up and we'll take a look at the map. So you can see, yeah, we've probably done about a quarter of the field so far, so still a long way to go. So that strip down the middle will keep. I don't think we're too far off being fairly equal to where we've gone across, so, and this side is just slightly bigger, but that's not going to be a massive issue. It's going to be far easier for us to work, although these two sections are still quite big. We could even probably look at quartering them and going across that way as well, and having 4 smaller fields. But yeah, I think the 2 larger ones will be okay for us for now. But yeah, we really need to try and see if we can get some wheel weights. I'm not sure how much it's going to cost. Let's just lower the plough down, because that's going to get disconnected, so we'll just take it off. So Massey Ferguson customise. So currently we've just got standard Trelleborg tyres on. So we go wide tyres. They don't do wide tyres with wheel weight, so look what Michelin. They also don't do any wheel weights on the rear. Can we actually get wheel weights? It's not looking good. So it doesn't look like we've got the option for wheel weights on the rears. So we might just have to go with wide tyres to rear twins. I don't really want to spend 5,000. It looks like we'll be going with, let's have a quick look at BKT, wide tyres 2. So we'll give those a go. That's 2,500. So it's a bit of a shame we couldn't get wheel weights on. Let's get that connected back up and connect the plough back up and get the hoses on. We'll see if the just having the wider tyres helps any. Even if it just helps a little bit, stop the wheel spin, that will be a big improvement. Just help speed things up a little bit. We'll get that turned around. And lower that down. It's still slipping a little bit. If anything, actually feels worse now than it did before. Yeah, that may have been 2,500 not well spent. Now, I think the other problem we've got is the gearing, because it keeps trying to shift up now. So let's try can find which setting it's on. Is it? It's not on here, is it? Or is it on here? Gear shift mode. Well, let's try that on manual just to see if we can actually keep it in one gear. That seems a little bit better now. We're not in automatic, it's not trying to keep bouncing up and change gear. I'll go into too high of a gear. But we are still struggling a little bit. We're still not getting full speed anyway, which I think is 7 miles per hour for this plow. Which one did we get? Yeah, 7 miles per hour, 165 horsepower requirement, and the Massey's got 170, so we've got enough horsepower, but it's still struggling a little bit. Right, so the ploughing is all done. It took a little bit longer than I would have liked, but that is all done now. So we just take a look in here. You can see where the divide is. So I think this side is a little bit bigger than that side. I don't think it's too far off being equal. I think it could have just done with being that strip being a little bit lower, but it'll do for now. It just makes things a little bit easier, although this is still a fairly big field just on its own. So the next job is to get some lime on. We also need some fertilizer as well, because our seed drill doesn't fertilize. So what we'll do is we'll jump in the Fent and we'll get the pallet forks. Do we have any pallet forks? I don't think we do. We have a barrel spike. Is that all? Oh, just the barrel spike by the looks of it. Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll jump in here. This could do being repaired, but I think for now we'll just have to make do with as it is. So we'll get the bale trailer hooked up, and then we'll head down to the store. We'll buy as many big bags of lime that we can actually fit on to our trailer to bring those back, and then we'll get some lime on the field. Okay, so down at the local farm stores, I'll just stop that there. We'll get a set of pallet forks, and they'll be more useful than the big bag lifter, because we can obviously use the pallet forks for more things. So we can lift the big bags with those as well. Just won't be able to get it high enough to load into the actual fertilizer spreader itself with them. So we'll just get a set of these, and then we'll get the big bags of lime. So 2,000 litres, 350 per 2,000 litres. Don't think I have any other mods for any other options, so this looks what we'll do. 8. We should fit 8 on easy. Well, we'll get 8 for now. We're going to need quite a lot because that's quite a big field. So I imagine we're going to need trying to gauge how much lime I used on the last field I did lime on. So I think the little fertiliser spreader, the one we've got, is a 6,000 litre capacity, and I think we're going to probably need 3 full loads to do the field, so that's 18,000 litres. See if we can get 2 bags. I'm not sure, because we don't have the weight on the back, whether we'll be able to lift 2 bags. No. Right, so it looks like loading one at a time. Yeah, I think so. We need around 18,000. So that's 9 bags. So we've currently got 8. So I think if we get 2 more bags, so we'll take that to 10. That'll be 20,000 litres of lime. And then if there's any space, we'll get some bags of fertiliser. We won't need anywhere near as much as that. We also need to get some seed as well. So we'll see if we can fit a couple of bags of fertiliser on and a couple of bags of lime onto this trailer to take it all back with us, rather than having to come back again. So we're just coming back up to the farm. We've got 12 bags. 12 bags of lime, 3 bags of seeds, and then the 3 bags of fertiliser. So that should be enough to do what we need to do for now. So what I'll just pull this up in here for now. Yeah, that's switched off. Yeah, so the pallet forks won't lift the big bags enough to empty them. So for now, we'll just have to do the auto fill. If we go and get the spreader, so we'll get the lime done. We'll get a layer of fertiliser on, and then we'll seed the canola. And then the next job will be to get the field rolled, so we can get rid of these small stones. That's one thing I need to do, is change the controller command for opening the build menu is the same as the manual attach for attaching the hoses. Right, so we'll get this filled up with lime. So then we'll hopefully we'll have enough to get this section of the field done. We want to try and make sure we actually do get lime in. Yeah, so we want to try and make the most of this field. Try and get the 100% yield bonus if we can. Because we've ploughed, there should be no problem with weeds for this next crop anyway. So ploughing prevents weeds, so we won't have to worry about weeds on the first 2 harvests of this field. But then, as we don't plan on ploughing after every crop, we'll only plough when required, so after corn or potatoes if we ever do those. So that's that fault. So yeah, we won't have to worry about weeds this time, but obviously next time we after the harvest we put the next crop in, we will have to deal with weeds. So we'll try and avoid using herbicide unless we use it as a pre-emerge spray. At the moment we don't have a spray anyway, so that's not an option, but yeah, that's something to look into for the future. Also, I'd like to quickly say, just while we're doing this, is yeah, apologies for the slight delay in between the first and second episode. The first part of this video where I did all the ploughing was recorded not long after I'd finished the first episode, but before it was published. And last Sunday, over the last week or so, I've not been feeling too good, so I've not been on here to actually continue recording. and hopefully as well the audio will be a little bit better as well. From the first video, the audio came across a little bit quiet with the microphone. That problem I had was because when I switched to the new PC, I got the GeForce Experience installed and I'd changed the settings for recording. So I'd made sure the resolution was in 4K for recording, and also the bitrate, but I forgot to do the audio. So within GeForce Experience, when you record audio, you can record the game sounds and the microphone sound as separate audio tracks, which makes life a little bit easier when you come to do the editing. You can adjust the volumes independently of each track, so if the game's a little bit too loud at one point, you can just lower the volume down for the game without affecting the voice through the microphone. The problem I had was I'd forgot to change that to separate tracks, so the first episode and the same with the first Transport Fever episode was when I came to edit, because I'd recorded both before I edited them, I couldn't adjust the sound of the microphone without increasing the game sound, so I was kind of a little bit stuck. So I tried to adjust it as best as I could without the game sounds then becoming too overly loud, but it was, yeah, pretty much impossible to get anything decent. So that's all sorted now, and I've also changed my microphone and a few other settings, so hopefully the audio will be a lot better now from now on. And yeah, the second part of this video may be a little bit different to the first part where I was doing the ploughing, just down to that as well. So we've used 54% and we've done one lap round, so we may not need as much lime as I anticipated, but we've got plenty anyway, so we are going to use it, so it's not a complete waste of money, and lime's not overly expensive, but we are desperately running short of money, so we're definitely going to have to look at doing a few contracts. I don't plan on doing like massive amounts of contracts, and I really want to try and avoid doing loads of stuff off camera like between episodes, so I don't want to come back with like 200,000 and I've done like 6-7 contracts. But I may do the odd one just to give us a bit of money to do something in the next episode. I'm not sure where we'll be. I did look at the forestry area, but at the moment that's way beyond what we can afford. I think it's around about 200 and something thousand, and it's quite slim pickings as well in the forestry area. I presume that's down to performance, just to ensure performance on consoles, that there's a reduced amount of trees, because it's more like an open area with a few spruce trees rather than an actual forest area. I doubt at the moment, even if we actually purchased that with the amount of trees in there, we'd make the money back from buying the land. But yeah, it's something to consider for the future for winter work. Right, so last little bit of lime to do, and we just about used under 12,000 litres, so 2 full loads. If we have enough just to finish off this tiny little bit that I missed. Just about, so let's just check that, make sure we haven't missed any bits. So let's get rid of these overlays. Yeah, so that section needs lime. As you can see, another one of those maps. I'm not sure why it happens on maps from Oxygen David, where they always seem to need liming, and every field needs lime and ploughing. I don't think lime and ploughing affects grass fields. Not 100% sure on that. But for now, I'm not going to worry about ploughing these up and replanting the grass. We'll just leave them as they are, because yeah, it's just going to be a lot to do. But if it does significantly affect the yield, it is something we will look at doing. So yeah, all the lime's done apart from that one tiny little bit there. And as you can see, we've only got small stones in this field, so we can get rid of those with a roller. So I think next job we'll I think we'll sow the canola first because we're having the lime on the field, although probably not the way it would be done, and you wouldn't sow into a ploughed field. It would be better to go over it with a disc harrow first, but I just don't have the time to do that to get the episodes out. I'm already behind where I wanted to be, so for now it's just going to be a case of cutting a few slight corners just to help get these videos out for now. So what we'll do is we're going to need this again. We'll just drop this off here for now. So we need to get rid of the PTO and the cables, unhook that. Also what we really need is some more fuel. So it looks like, as there is no actual buy point for fuel, I think our only option is to actually purchase it direct here. So if we get 500 litres for now, should last us quite a while. We'll get this fueled up. So what we'll do then is get the seed drill hooked up, which is, oh, it's in this shed. Yeah, so we'll get this hooked up, we'll get that filled with seed, and then we'll do the canola. And then what we'll have to do is look, see if we can lease a roller for now, just to roll the field, and also try and get the at least one layer of fertiliser on. Just thinking, yeah, we'll do it that way, because then because the other second layer of fertiliser we could do next spring, well, coming next year in the spring. If we try and get this seed drill hooked up, yeah, it's going to be one of those, and don't sure how I actually got it in here. A little bit too far on that. Let's get that hooked up. Let's get the cables hooked up. I don't think there's any PTO on this. I think it's all powered by the actual wheels. There we go, so we're out. Yeah, so we'll get this filled up with seed, and then we'll do the canola. And then the next job will be fertiliser and then rolling. I'll switch that to canola and just double check we can do canola now. Yeah, so September's the last month for canola. So we'll start off. This is an odd shaped, well, it's not that much of an odd shape, it's just that the way the game works with the textures only really do 90 degrees. So it'll be easy if we just follow 90 degrees and then go from there. So I'll just do one pass kind of down the middle. We'll do headlands last this time. If we get that to actually, that's confusing. I think the plow textures come out at 60 odd degrees. Just to make life easier, I think 90 degrees is kind of over that way though. Yeah, it's difficult to see with the lime on now to follow the textures. Right, we'll try it at 70, see if how that works. And that's slightly off the texture. Yeah, that's slightly off. That's going to mess with my head if I do it that way. Right, so we need to try and follow these lines a little bit straighter. So that looks around about 68.8, which 67 degrees or so. Yeah, so it looks like about 67 degrees is close enough to follow the lines. So we should have plenty of seed. Canola doesn't take much seed, it does go quite far. But again, we've only got a 4 metre seed drill. at 9 miles an hour as well, so it's not the fastest, definitely not the widest, so it's gonna take a while, but we'll get this done today, get this whole field finished off, and then next time we'll have a look at doing some hay, so then we can start looking at getting some cows and start production on milk and slurry for using on our fields and selling. So that's the first pass done. Just turn around. Also next time I think we may have to look at picking up one of the contracts, possibly fertilising, because they do seem to pay rather well. Although we'll probably will borrow the equipment for doing any contracts, because the fields are so big, it's just going to take far too long using our own equipment, and all the extra wear and tear we'll be putting on our equipment doing fields that big will soon add up in repair costs, which so far I still think the repair costs for equipment still seem a little bit excessive. I don't know if they've reduced them in the update. I'm sure they did. They at least adjusted them slightly in the update, but some of the repair costs I've got since then still seem way too excessive. So they may need adjusting a little bit more. So nearly finished with the canola sowing. Got this tiny little bit down here to do, and then the headlands. Then what we'll do, we'll nip down to the store to lease a set of rollers, and then we'll get that done before we finish up for today. And then what I'll do once I've done that, in between episodes, I'll get the fertiliser on, because we are fast running out of time. I'm just a bit wary about how long this episode is going to be as well. So we'll get the rolling done, I'll get the fertiliser done before the next episode, and I'll also look at doing one of the fertilising contracts that's available, so we do have a little bit of money ready for the next episode, because we are going to need to lease a bale wrapper so we can do some silage bales, because we don't have any way of wrapping the bales we currently have. So just finishing off the last little bit of the canola. So just got this little bit of the headland to do, and that is our first crop all sown here on Calmsden Farm. So the only downside is now waiting for harvest for this before we can get any money back. So at the moment, other than cutting grass for selling it either as grass, hay or silage, we don't have any other way of getting any income. So we do really need to look at doing a few contracts so we can actually start buying some cows once we've got the feed, so we can start producing milk to sell. So we have actually got another source of income other than just waiting for the crop stuff to be ready to harvest. So this tiny last little bit, and that's it, all done. I'll get that switched off. So we'll just check this over. So we are just all in need of rolling. What does it look like we're missing? It looks like that headland hasn't fully sown. Oh, I know what I've done. This seed drill is rather annoying. It has the and I couldn't work out how to do this. This seed drill has the option to do ridge mark tram lines, which I've obviously automatically switched on. Although I didn't select them as an option, they are still technically there, even though you can't see them. So I've accidentally put the tram lines on. And I can't remember now how you get rid of them. That looks like they're still on. That's it, they're gone. Yeah, so if you're on Control Xbox, if you do LB and then the right analog stick to the left, it removes. I don't know how I've accidentally got those switched on. How I've got all the way around to there before I've noticed. Yeah, I had that problem briefly on, I think it was on hoe baler when I used this seed drill, and I had the same problem. But yeah, even though I haven't selected the tram lines as an option on them, they are technically still there, and you can accidentally enable them. So we'll just finish off this little bit and then we'll go down to the store and get the set of rollers and we'll get that done. Alright, back down to the store. The canola is all done and finished now. So I fixed the little bit of the error with the tram lines. I'm not sure how I accidentally enabled those. So we're going to lease a roller, or set of rollers. The one we're going to go with, for obvious reasons, is the modded, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Gutler, Goofler, Gutler, no idea. Unfortunately this is not available on console due to it actually being a real brand, Giant's not having the license, so it is unfortunately only a PC mod at the moment. So we'll go for the 8.2 meter, just to help make things a little bit quicker, and 878 to lease that. I'm not even sure if we'll make that much extra canola with just 2.5% increase in yield for rolling, but the main reason for doing it is more for the to get rid of the small stones. So if we didn't have these small stones come up, I probably wouldn't have bothered leasing the roller for now. As I say, the leasing cost may exceed what we make off the actual increase in yield, but we'll do it anyway. Once we can afford our own set of rollers, then it won't be so much of a financial worry whether we do it or not, because we'll actually own the equipment, not worrying about leasing costs. So let's head back and get this field rolled, and then we'll call it a day. Right then, so back up the farm now to get our fields rolled. I'm not sure in real life if you actually roll canola. I know in the UK they tend to roll barley. I'm not sure about canola. No idea. If anybody does know whether canola is something that is actually rolled in the UK in real life, then let me know. Would be interesting to see. As far as I'm aware, it's not done. But I say I've not seen it being done. So we are getting rid of some of the stones, but it does look like it's missing a few bits right on the end. I'm presuming we're not quite going over the top of them to get rid of them, but we are getting rid of the majority of them, so we should be okay. So let's just stop that there and then we'll check. So we've got no fertilizer currently, and we've got a yield bonus of plus 52%. We didn't mulch the field, so we're not going to get the full 100% because we didn't go for the mulching. So the highest we'll get is 97.5% yield. I would say if I didn't have these small stones, I wouldn't have bothered with the rolling, to be honest, this time. Well, I don't think, from what I've been told, small stones don't affect the seeder, so you don't cause any additional damage to your seed drill. But I do think they have an effect on harvesting. So if you've got stones in your field when you harvest, I think they could potentially damage your header, like when you're harvesting your header a little bit more. I don't know if it has any effect on yield if you've got stones when you harvest. That I'm not 100% sure about. And it's another one of those new mechanics in the game we need to try and find out, and it would be nice if Giants put a little bit more information on these things in the help menus, because they are very brief and basic, and there's a lot of effects things have that aren't 100% clear. So I think they could do a better job of actually explaining how these kind of things work and what effects leaving stones in have the overall, rather than just a brief stones affect this and that. Looks like we've got some larger stones that are not being removed there. Not sure how on that little patch down here we got some larger stones and the rest of the field's small. Let's just check, because I don't remember seeing. Oh yeah, so just down here we've got some orange and red ones just down this very edge of the field. Well, they'll have to stay there for now, because I don't think we can remove them without damaging the crop now, or without using a stone picker. But it is only on this one edge, so hopefully it won't cause too much of an issue. Right, last little bit of rolling to do, and that's this field all done, and our field work all done arable wise for this year. For the fields we actually own ourselves. We've got this tiny last little bit to do. One downside to this roller is that you do need to be right on top of the stones to get rid of them, so you do have to overlap quite a bit to ensure you don't miss any. So I think we've got one tiny little bit down in the corner to do, and that is that done. So I've taken out the contract for field 17 to do the fertilising. I'm just going to use our spreader, because the leased equipment, or the borrowed equipment for the contract was the Bradle spreader, but without the spreading arms on it. So it was only an 18-metre spread anyway, so which is the same as what our spreader is. So I may as well just use our equipment, because there's a reduction of 5,500 for borrowing the equipment, which will probably cover the cost of the fertiliser we'll need to buy to do the contract. So we'll make a little bit more money using our own, and I think we've got a tiny little bit here to do. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's a bit longer than I anticipated, and apologies again for it being a bit long between episodes. Hopefully the gap between episodes won't be as long from now on. So if you did enjoy it, then please don't forget to hit the like button, and if you're not yet subscribed to the new channel, then please do consider subscribing. This will be the home of the Farm Simulator 22 Let's Play series, and also Let's Play series on other games, and possibly some live streams as well. So until the next one, take care and have a happy farming time, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.